Be reading some of the Bible today, and we're going to be starting in Matthew. I think that's the easiest thing to do, is start from the New Testament, because if you look at the difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament,
Old Testament is very big.
Yeah, it's very big. So I'm going to be studying,
With
learning with my daughter, learning with you as well, and yeah, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a teacher, I'm just sharing the word as best as I can with others. And to someone who's also a babe in the faith, who's still starting with the milk and honey and working towards the meat. And what I'll do is I will read the Bible from here through, and then I'll continue as we're learning it over and over again. Yeah, we'll have a different perspective going back by reading through, if that makes sense. And yeah.
And some people will can I show?
You can share the book.
Some people will highlight things like that. And my mom has gotten through like up to Acts and
Yeah, so that's as in my personal Bible. So right now what I'm reading through, what I'm going to be reading with you is the NASB, which is the John MacArthur Study Bible.
and this is the KJV.
Right. And this one here my daughter brought is the KJV.
And there is a Dewey Rhines as well.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But I got my own NASB and I've been highlighting and
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
do things at your own pace too, right? And we read a little bit at a time, because as you can see, it can be overwhelming. Even reading a little part, sometimes it can take, sometimes you need to ask for guidance through the Holy Spirit to help you with understanding. I know in some cases, yeah. And I'm not going to do the best job of being able to explain everything to you, so bear with me. Like I said, this is a Bible study. Yeah. And it's a learning process, right, kiddo? But yeah, at the moment I've read, I did try and read the some of the Old Testament. I was like, okay,
with
yeah,
me.
with you. And I was listening to it on the Bible app, but someone recommended that we start at the New Testament and work our way through, and then head toward the Old Testament to make it make sense. So yeah.
Sometimes, in the New Testament,
Yeah.
there will be prophets in the Old Testament that say things about the prophecy.
Yeah.
About Jesus Christ and what's going to happen in the future.
So when you're reading the New Testament, sometimes you have to refer back to the Old Testament in order to have things make sense. But things like the coming of the Messiah is written in the Old Testament in places like Zechariah, about the colt.
Isaiah.
Yeah. And then when you look further, I can't remember where, I don't know the Bible off by heart, but then it shows, I think it's in Matthew, could be wrong, double check for yourself. Make sure you're also reading the Bible for yourself, because as much as we can do Bible study together, it's also good to listen to a scholar, read it for yourself, see what others have to say.
Like, for example, you can listen to John MacArthur.
Yeah, I will admit sometimes I listen to John MacArthur. We're still early in our journey, right? We weren't raised Christians, but past couple. But yeah, so we're gonna start in Matthew. Kiddo, you wanna sit down? Because she's playing Lego at the minute, so she's listening in at the same time, and that's her little study time too. But yeah, you have had to make the video again because I wanted to. But anyway, sometimes when I'm reading things out, I struggle with being able to say certain names, so I do apologize beforehand. So, we're in Matthew 1. Let us begin. The genealogy of Jesus the Messiah. The record of the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Hold on, bear with me. Lara, would you be there and pass me a pencil with the eraser, please? Oh, I knew that was there. Thank you. Right. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah was the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez was the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab the father of Nashron, and Nashron the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz by Rahab. Boaz was the father of Obed by Ruth, and Obed the father of Jesse. Jesse was the father of David the king. David was the father of Solomon by Bathsheba, who had been the wife of Uriah. Solomon was the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam the father of Abijah, and Abijah the father of Asa, and Asa was the father of Jehoshaphat. You're messing me up too. The father of say that again. Josaphat the father of Joram, and Joram the father of Uzziah. Uzziah was the father of Jotham, Jotham the father of Ahaz, and Ahaz the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah was the father of Manasseh, Manasseh the father of Ammon, and Ammon the father of Josiah. Josiah became the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the deportation to Babylon. After the deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah became the father of Shealtiel, the father of Zerubbabel.
Shealtiel.
So is that what it is?
I don't know. Shealtiel.
So it's spelled Shealtiel. Shealtiel. Okay? And Shealtiel, the father of Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel was the father of Abihud. Abihud, the father of Eliakim, and Eliakim, the father of Azor. Azor was the father of Zadok. Zadok, the father of Achim, and Achim, the father of Eliud. Eliud was the father of Eleazar. Eleazar, the father of Matan, and Matan, the father of Jacob. Jacob was the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, by whom Jesus was born, who is called the Messiah. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. From David to the deportation to Babylon, 14 generations, and from the deportation to Babylon to the Messiah, 14 generations. Right, okay, so. Okay, I didn't write anything on there. Okay. Right. So, that's the genealogy. I'm going to check something real quick. Bear with me. Would you like to bring your chair over here, child?
Yeah.
the term Messiah originates from the Hebrew word Mashiach, which literally
Machias?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna bring it up and try and have the thing pronounce it because I'm doing a terrible job.
Yeah.
Which literally translates to the anointed one or the chosen one. Okay, so that's Messiah.
Mm-hmm. And it will say in the Bible Emmanuel, which means Emmanuel is God with. It means God with us, right?
Right. So Mashiach, my goodness, bear with. Sorry, I'm. You gotta take me like an old woman.
Well, you are. You're 30. What do you expect me to say? What?
I'm not talking to you anymore. Anyway. Okay, there we go. So now we're in Matthew 1:18, and we're going to read 2:25.
2:25.
Shh. Be quiet. Now let me read it out. All right? Now conception and birth of Jesus. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was as follows. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child by the Holy Spirit. And Joseph, her husband, being a righteous man and not wanting to disgrace her, planned to send her away secretly. But when he had considered this, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child who has been conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. Now all this took place to fulfill what was spoken by the Lord through the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall be with child, and shall bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which translated means God with us. So you are right, kiddo. And Joseph awoke from his sleep, and did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, and took Mary as his wife, but kept her a virgin until she gave birth to a son, and she called his name Jesus. Right, so we were looking earlier at the Old Testament to why Joseph was concerned. Because back in the Old Testament, if you look in Leviticus 20:10 and Deuteronomy 22:22, yeah, and she was, at the time, can you imagine if you're the husband and your wife is pregnant, but she's a virgin? I mean, a lot must have been going through his head. So let's go to Leviticus.
Deuteronomy.
You want to go Deuteronomy first?
Mm-hmm.
No, we'll do Leviticus because that's the first one that's up there, right?
Okay.
Leviticus.
I'll just get it up. So
2010.
So you read Leviticus and I read Deuteronomy. Is that fair?
We shall see. Okay. So 2010. If there is a man who commits adultery with another man's wife, one who commits adultery with his friend's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Right? And then Deuteronomy 22:22.
If a man is found sleeping with a married woman, then both of them shall die. The man who slept with the woman and the woman so you shall eliminate the evil from Israel.
Okay, so yeah. So I can see why he was
And
yeah.
and in
Well, let's stick to
the
is this
in the 10 Commandments, it
Yeah.
says, do not commit adultery.
It is in there, but this is different. This is God this is God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Incarnate as a human being through Mary, who is blessed among women, right?
And can you explain what incarnated means?
So, incarnate. So, he came down,
Which means descended.
well, through Mary, he was born, wasn't he? But it's God. Jesus is God, right? So he's incarnate, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's God with us, Emmanuel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible because sometimes I'm not the best at articulating everything, so bear with me. Right, so
Let me get there. There.
So God through his angel reassured Joseph.
So on chapter 2.
Yeah, so it was, but when he had considered this, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream. So that's how he appeared to him, to reassure Joseph, hey, everything's good. Don't worry about it. That's God. He's going to be born through your wife, Mary. And then, he goes through everything and explains things, yeah, to provide clarity for Joseph. So we've read that part. Okay. Now we're on Matthew 2, the visit of the Magi. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, who I don't like, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him, gathering together all the chief priests and scribes of the people. He inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea. For this is what has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the leaders of Judah. For out of you shall come forth a ruler, who will shepherd my people Israel.
Which prophet is that?
Can you let me finish?
Mm-hmm.
Then Herod secretly called the Magi and determined from them the exact time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the child. And when you have found him, report to me so that I too may come and worship him. After hearing the king, they went their way, and the star, which they had seen in the east, went on before them until it came and stood over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. After coming into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell to the ground and worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned by God in a dream not to return to Herod, the Magi left for their own country by another way. Right, so Let's look. What is the Magi?
Aren't
Matthew.
they the ones that rode the donkeys?
Bear with me. I'm looking it up. I'm learning with you, child. I'm learning with you. The Magi, traditionally called the wise men, okay, were wise, non-Jewish astrologers or scholar priests from the East, likely Persia or Babylon, who traveled to Jerusalem and Bethlehem to worship the newborn King of the Jews. This is the I'm reading on the Google, so this is where the information I'm getting. Okay, I'm not gonna go too in depth into it, but we get the point. They were the wise men, and I do have some notes at the bottom as well to read. Ooh, pancake. I'll definitely have a pancake. No. You have that pancake. I'll think about it later.
I had 2 of them already.
Oh, how dare you.
Should I eat another one?
Leave them for tomorrow. Those 2, leave for tomorrow. Peanut butter pancakes. Sorry. Okay. Alright, so why do you think, Missy, why do you think Herod was so interested in the child? Jesus as a baby.
Because he was a king, right?
Herod.
Yeah. He was a king, right?
King Herod, yeah. Sadly.
And I think it was because he didn't want any other kings except from him.
Do you think he was a threat to him?
I think so.
So it says here, okay, so after we go through what the treasures are that they brought with them to gift, like the gold, the frankincense, and the myrrh, we read here, and having been warned by God in a dream not to return to Herod, the Magi left for their own country by another way.
Oh, and where are you?
I'm at 2:12.
12.
Yep.
Okay. Can I read this part, the escape to Egypt?
No, but I'm having a conversation with you, Missy. We just explained it, right? So I asked you, why was Herod so interested in the child, right?
Because he didn't want any kings.
Because he was a threat to him, wasn't he? Right? And then we're on the part now where they were warned, weren't they? The Magi, by God through a dream, not to return to Herod. And the Magi left from their own country by another way. Right? So can you imagine for Herod waiting on an answer?
And he would be like,
Where are these Magi that I asked to go and do my bidding?
And then he sent, I don't know, but I think he sent people to kill babies under.
Yeah, something. Well, yeah.
Can I read
There was a lot of.
violence.
Mm-hmm.
Can I read this part?
Well, I want to keep on Matthew. We're starting at the New Testament, right? So I don't
This
want to be
isn't-
bounced. I understand, but I don't want to be bouncing around too much. What are you wanting to read from this? You wanting to read it again?
No, this is a different one.
Th-
This is Matthew. This is the next part.
Okay, well, for now, kiddo, I'm just gonna read this part.
And then we're done.
Because if you look, so with the NASB, it has the Bible at the top. And then it has notes here.
From John MacArthur, because John MacArthur is making it more simple to read.
He's adding notes to refer to after you're reading those parts. So we'll read this part as well.
And it won't have everything.
No, well, can you imagine trying to fit everything in at the bottom to explain absolutely everything that's in the Bible? It'd be, woo! I mean, this isn't everything. This is a snippet of what the disciples and what Jesus did on their time on earth, right? So, can you imagine if everything was written? Absolutely everything that they did? Do you think this book would be this? Do you think this book would be this big? Or do you think it'd be like massive? Yeah, massive.
If it was like a storybook, it would be like very large.
Yeah, it'd be very. You could build houses with the amount of books on the things that they did. But the main thing is they wrote down what was necessary, right?
And yeah.
Okay. Right. So let's read here. The record of the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah. This phrase is viewed by some as Matthew's title for the entire gospel. The Greek phrase translated book of the genealogy is exactly the same phrase used in Genesis 5:11. Okay, let's go to 5:11. Genesis 5:11. We might be bouncing around a little bit, so be patient with us. Por favor. Did I say 5:11? 5:11. Okay, wait. I don't want to do the thing that my mom taught me how to do with the fingers if it gets stuck. Alright, 5:1. My bad, sorry. Descendants of Adam. This is the book of the generation of Adam in the day when God created man. Okay. The Hebrew Jeshua means the Lord is salvation, son of David, a messianic title used as such in only the synoptic gospels. Son of Abraham, takes his royal lineage all the way back to the nation's inception in the Abrahamic covenant. For a comparison of this genealogy and the one given by Luke. So 1:3. 1:3. So in 1:3 of Matthew, the name Tamar, it is usual for the woman to be named in genealogies. Matthew named 5 Tamar was a Canaanite woman who posed as a prostitute to seduce Judah.
Sorry for all the noise.
It's okay. Okay, so in 1:5 of Matthew, this is what is written in the notes. Salmon. I always think of fish. Salmon, fish. Don't ask.
That's salmon.
Salmon. But I pronounce it salmon without the L. Don't ask why. Salmon was the father of Boaz by Rahab. Jesse was the father of David the king. This is not an exhaustive genealogy. Several additional generations must have elapsed between Rahab in Joshua's time and David. Verse 6, nearly 4 centuries later. Matthew's genealogy, like most of the biblical ones, sometimes skips over several generations between well-known characters in order to abbreviate the listing. Double check it for yourself. Always say, no matter who you're listening to, this is what we should all be saying to each other, is make sure you also study the Bible for yourself. And don't just take what anyone tells you either. So, yeah. Discern, question.
And...
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
God.
it's the same as when I'm teaching you, kiddo. You also have to read the Bible for yourself, don't you? Right? Very important.
Like in the Catholic Church, they deceive you, right? Somewhat.
I'd have to do another video on that, but let's just say, personally, I am not fond of the Catholic Church, right? But that's my experience and the things that I've when I was referring to earlier, from my experience, not saying it's all the same, but when we were first trying to understand things, we had a Catholic friend and we went to a Catholic church for the first time, and yeah, instead of picking up the Bibles at the church, they were picking up the missal. The missal. Let me go and grab it. It'd be easier.
I'll go.
Go and grab the little one, which we don't use the missal. And yeah, I didn't have the greatest experience in the Catholic Church, and try to go second time. Yeah, that's a video for another time. Yeah, when you go to the I'm speaking on the Catholic Church that we went to, that a friend invited us to. When you go in there, though they do spend a little bit of time reading through the Bible, while the guy at the front, this is what they get out, and throughout the entire year, this is what they'll be reading through. And they have their own prayers, such and such, but we don't do this one, do we? Right? At first, yeah.
Where is it?
I like to read the Bible. I don't trust. I'm not doing the daily missal thing. I'm not a Catholic. I'm a Christian. But yeah, things like when they pray and when they're praying, it's very fancy, the way that they write out, the way, for example, the prayers that they read. Hold on, let me have a look. And I don't hate Catholics, by the way, but there's a reason why I mean, you make your own decision, kiddo, but there are a lot of things that I don't agree with. They do things much differently. I'm trying to find a prayer, bear with.
And
in Latin, I don't understand. Jesus was Jewish, right? And they're very, with the Catholic Church, we must keep the Latin. It's very important. The demons hate Latin. At the end of the day, yeah.
What is Latin?
Latin is an old language. See, for example,
We have all kinds.
we'll keep it short because I do want to read Matthew, but things like
Up
the
to, can we have, and God, has a prayer, right? The Lord's Prayer.
okay, my take on reading prayers, doing prayers is it needs to be genuine, right? He knows your thoughts before you say them. He knows what you need, right? And there's sometimes we can pray to the Lord and be like, hey, Lord, I'd like a Ferrari. Sometimes he does answer our prayers. I'm using a random prayer,
It's
right?
not what you want, it's what you need.
It's not what you want, it's what you need. Okay. I'm gonna be here all day trying to find. But yeah, the point is when Catholics pray, there's they have to do these special prayers, and it's very structured, right? And I personally am not all about the structured prayer. When I go to the Lord, I want to be genuine. I want to be honest. I don't want to be like, oh, hold on, Lord, let me just go grab my prayer and I'll pick one out that's one wrote. You know, I can imagine being the Father and going, she's prayed that prayer. There's somewhere in the Bible as well that says like repetitive prayer, doesn't it? Right? Don't pray vain repetitions. And when we went to the Catholic Church for the first time, they must have been doing the Hail Mary, 50 times over? And
We had to stand up, we had to
stand up, down, up, down, up. I couldn't keep up. It was like
Me too.
dancing chairs. Up, down, up, down.
It's like, can we sit in the chair and listen to the gospel?
It must be, especially when you're a lot older, being in the church and you up, down, my knee. I understand, right? We have to be humble. We can pray on our knees, you know. It's very important to remember we have a glorious God. And that's part of our journey with Him. What was that? And the rosaries too. We don't have a rosary at home.
We do.
We did. We still have it here, but I don't want it in the house. The reason for that is that we are called to test the spirits. And I question whether Saint Dominic questioned the spirit who appeared to him, who appeared to be Mary, giving him this so-called rosary with the 15 promises, and I just see big red flag. And considering a lot of my family on my father's side are Catholic, and I see them with the rosaries.
Like,
It's just...
your sis, Janine?
Yeah, Janine has the rosary. I personally don't do the rosary thing. It's not biblical either. It's not in the Bible. But you can double check that for yourself.
But in the Dewey Rhymes, it does have a picture of the...
I'm not sure. I stick with my NASB. I stick with my KJV or...
I like those too.
Yeah. But let's get back
to
studying, right? Because that's where we're at.
Sorry about the change.
Yeah, let's not bounce around too much because we're trying to go through the Bible and we're at the point of...
Distraction.
You're distracting me, child. You're distracting me. Right, what we were talking about the Magi, right?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. The flight to Egypt. Now, when they had gone, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him." That's why I don't like Herod.
Can I read the rest of it?
Well, hold on. The next part. So Joseph got up and took the child and his mother while it was still night and left for Egypt. He remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." Okay, yeah, this is the part that you were on about where it gets a bit... Woo. So in Matthew 2:16, Herod slaughters babies. Right? Then Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi. He became very enraged and sent and slew all the male children who were in Bethlehem, slew, and all its vicinity from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had determined from the Magi. Then what had been spoken through Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and she refused to be comforted because they were no more. But when Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead." So Joseph got up, took the child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he heard that the Archelaus, can you see? Archelaus, that's as best as I'm going to be able to say it, was reigning over Judea in a place of his father Herod. He was afraid to go there. Then, after being warned by God in a dream, he left for the regions of Galilee and came and lived in a city called Nazareth. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. Right. I think that'll do for today. What do you think, kiddo? What we might do is we might cut it here. It's at 45 minutes. I don't want to make it too long. And then we'll continue on to Matthew 3. Sound good? Sound good? I hope you guys have a nice day. And see you later.
See you.
Hello.